Gather round, children, and join me and my dog as we continue our journey through On Tyranny. 20 Lessons from the 20th Century by Timothy Snyder, published in 2017. So let's get into it. We are reading this so we can be educated enough so that we don't make dumb decisions, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes our German ancestors may have done in the 1930s, 1940s. Also, as an aside, find someone that looks at you the way my Draco Dean looks at me. He just loves me so much. All right, so we are on chapter 9. Be kind to our language. Avoid pronouncing the phrases everyone else does. Think up your own way of speaking, even if only to convey that thing you think everyone is saying. Make an effort to separate yourself from the internet. Read books, which we're doing. Victor Klemperer, a library scholar of Jewish origin, turned his philological, I've never heard that word before, training against Yahtzee propaganda. He noticed how the mustache man's language rejected legitimate opposition. The people always meant some people and not others. An American president said, "My people." Encounters were always struggles. An American variant is winning. And any attempt to understand the world in a different way was defamation of the leader, or as an American president put it, treason. Politicians in our times feed their cliches to television, where even those who wish to disagree repeat them. Television purports to challenge political language by conveying images, but the succession from one frame to another can hinder a sense of resolution. Everything happens fast, but nothing actually happens. Each story on televised news is breaking until it is displaced by the next one. So we are hit by wave upon wave, but never see the ocean. Draco, stop licking me, buddy. Can you stop? Can you stop? I love you. The effort to define the shape and significance of events requires words and concepts that elude us when we are entranced by visual stimuli. Watching televised news is sometimes little more than looking at someone who is also looking at a picture. We take this collective trance to be normal. We have slowly fallen into it. More than a half a century ago, the classic novels of totalitarianism warned of the domination of screens, the suppression of books, the narrowing of vocabularies, and the associated difficulties of thought. In Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, published in 1953, firemen find and burn books, while most citizens watch interactive television. In George Orwell's 1984, published in 1949, books are banned and television is a two-way, allowing the government to observe citizens at all times. In 1984, the language of visual media is highly constrained to starve the public of the concepts needed to think about the present, remember the past, and consider the future. One of the regime's projects is to limit the language further by eliminating ever more words with each edition of the official dictionary. Staring at screens is perhaps unavoidable, but the two-dimensional world makes little sense unless we can draw upon a mental armory that we have developed somewhere else. When we repeat the same words and phrases that appear in the daily media, we accept the absence of a larger framework. To have such framework requires more concepts, and having more concepts requires reading. So get the screens out of your room and surround yourself with books. The characters in Orwell's and Bradbury's books could not do this, but we still can. What to read? Any good novel enlivens our ability to think about ambiguous situations and judge the intentions of others. Fyodor Dostoevsky's The Brothers Karamazov, and Milan Kundera's The Unbearable Lightness of Being might suit our moment. Sinclair Lewis's novel It Can't Happen Here is perhaps not a great work of art. Philip Roth's The Plot Against America is better. One novel known by millions of young Americans that offers an account of tyranny and resistance is J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. If you or your friends or your children did not read it that way the first time, then it bears reading again. Some of the political and historical texts that inform the arguments made here are Politics and the English Language by George Orwell, 1946. The Language of the Third Reich by Victor Klemperer, 1947. The Origins of Totalitarianism by Hannah Arendt, 1951. The Rebel by Albert Camus, 1951. The Captive Mind by Czeslaw Milošov, 1953. The Power of the Powerless by Václav Havel in 1978. How to Be Conservative, Liberal Socialist by Leszek Kolakowski, 1978. The Uses of Adversity by Timothy Garton Ash, 1989. The Burden of Responsibility by Tony Jute, 1998. Ordinary Men by Christopher Browning, 1992. I suggested that one 2 chapters ago. And Nothing is True and Everything is Possible by Peter Pomerantsev. And I'll hold this page up after I'm done reading the chapter so that you can screenshot it if you want to check any of these books out. Christians might return to the foundational book, which, as ever, is very timely. Jesus preached that it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. We should be modest, for whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. And of course, we must be concerned with what is true and what is false. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So if you wanted to get any of these books, screenshot that. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.